All right, thank you very much. Yes, let's get into this next game. Some interesting connotations. Obviously, a little bit of a new look, or old look, I should say. Mutineers moving into it. We're going to be one of my dark horses maybe moving into this stage. Hopefully, they could have made that Cinderella run that we have seen before in the CDL. Whether or not that still happens, who knows? On the other side of it, Seattle Surge, huge win last week, but still want these 10 points. Get it in, make sure they don't even have that issue of worrying about whether or not they are making champs. They are currently in 7th position, but they are 40 points clear of Vegas. Tan, how do you feel about this matchup?
Well, I mean, a lot of things are pointing towards the side of Seattle Surge. The fact that Vehicle's back in the lineup instead of Havoc, and of course, hopefully we get Havoc back in as soon as he can. Definitely a lot of thoughts going out towards him. But Vehicle, I think, you know, a lot of people talked about him when he was on this roster. A few people were saying he was a player in the CDL. I absolutely disagreed with that. I think some strong S&D performances, some strong S&D stats that Ant took away from me. We will be heading into map number 2 and see how things go there. But map number 1 is going to be difficult. Seattle Surge, definitely the stronger, but ever since Florida brought in Cap and Fellow, 3-1 on this map, so definitely something to compete with.
Yeah, it's definitely one of these ones where at the moment everything kind of leans towards Seattle Surge in this matchup. But the Mutineers want to make a run themselves. We know that Champs is looming over the horizon. And unfortunately, Florida Mutineers have not had the kind of the great run that they would like so far in any of the splits we've had. Could this potentially be a turnaround? Taking down Seattle Surge would breathe new hope into the fan base.
A couple of big kills coming through. Brock actually finding one over towards the far side. Gonna need to hold this down. Manages to find another one onto Mack. Surviving on his lonesome though. Accuracy will eventually find that kill. So transitional kills coming in from Seattle Surge nice and quickly. Just about retaking this one if they can. Florida Mutineers here in numbers though, with a kill towards the back as well. Fellow may cause some issue here.
Just waiting, just looking for the positioning. Sib's just trying to hold as well. Make sure nobody comes through reception. He's got 2 against him, and he's going to fall straight away here. Huge break by Florida Mutineers. Managing to get him very, very quickly, but here comes a superstar. Pred is close, but he's got to wait for reinforcements done.
And that's all on Fellow over towards the back side. Gets some spawns over towards the car park side, and he's still actually alive and kicking towards the back. The rest of the Florida team now spawning here. You need to make sure you do something with this because you're not going to be in a good spot as we head over towards Kitchen, but there goes the break. Only Mack here left. Seattle Surge keeping Florida out of it. Florida in a good spot to maybe pick something up here. There's 20 seconds of scrap time guaranteed, or is it?
Well, Pred is going to check the corners. Can he pick the right one as well? It will be Pred for the scrap time, but rotation for Florida. They are behind, but getting in the kitchen, it is always difficult to get out of it. As Capsule just guns one on the outside. He gives his team a huge advantage, but Mack gets 2. And now Florida thought they were all locked in, and they might be. The first point in this hard point will go towards them. And it's a big spread from Seattle Surge.
And when Mack finding those kills, you might have thought it may have staggered a couple of moments for the side of Mutineers, but good play by them. Seattle not spawning anywhere near. And you can see accuracy pushing down to the backside. Pred with one at the front, potential break.
Looking for it as wow, and Pred just takes down 2. The trades are flying in from both teams. And it will eventually be Seattle Surge that get away with it. Capsule looking to reinforce before anybody can get situated. He finds the first, he looks for the second. They break straight back in. Florida Mutineers on the back of Capsule, who just runs straight back in the kitchen and says, hey, we were here first. We deserve these points.
Capsule eating right now inside the kitchen, finding the 2. Continuing to go as well. There's 4 in the scrap for Florida. Big plays from Capsule. Let's see if we can keep it up. Rotation starting to come through, and Seattle Surge spawn on his left-hand side. Can he cut them off? Not going to happen. It will be a rotation, a much-needed one for Surge. Just felt quite scrappy throughout. Both 2 teams kind of meeting 50-50 in church. Couple of big plays coming out from players on either side. Is what gets eventually that scrap time for Mutineers. Accuracy locking down the bar, though. Big kill coming in from Sib over towards the reception side. Seattle nice and spread out here. Florida Mutineers have got the gauntlet to run through before they even get to bar.
It was going to be a little bit difficult, actually, for Seattle. They didn't have the numbers that Florida had ready for this, but accuracy, the Iceman just sitting pretty. He has the cover, he has the gunny, and he's locked in. As long as his teammates can cover his flank, he will just keep holding these angles and shooting anybody who comes for him. But Vehicle breaks through. Fortunately, the trades are still there for Seattle, as Mack looks to just get anybody who goes for this in the end. There's a good rotation from Seattle. They will hold this for the entire time as we head to restaurant.
It's been a really good hold from Seattle, but honestly, Florida a little bit one by one. Haven't been able to find those 2 kills to break the back of Seattle to then just try and find those trades. And now we're on about the rotation coming through. Huge fight to Jewel. Fellow will win it. Important that he did so. Spawn's coming in towards the reception side for Florida Mutineers, so they know they're going to be pushing from that side. Seattle pushing kitchen. They know exactly where Florida are. Break could come through if they can set up nicely based off where accuracy is now pushing as well. Florida may well be in the point, but Seattle is positioned very, very well here, Bryce.
They are, they've already got a player in. Mack is now making it difficult as Pred goes for the pin. Simp gets the third, and Seattle set up for a perfect break, and Simp gets them off the respawn as well. Florida Mutineers, they were in restaurant first, but now they are staring down the barrel of their own hard break. Every single place they go, Seattle are ready.
Irons up from accuracy in the middle of the map, just clearing them up. Nicely done from Seattle after what was a shaky start. It's a wonderful break over towards the restaurant side. Surge and Simp specifically are starting to heat up just a little bit. The number 1 KD on this map at a 1.3. He's looking to add to that tally here today as well. Brack next on the chopping block. Give me another one in fellow. Not going to happen. Rotation over towards glass is going to be important here, especially for Mutineers. He had a good start. Seattle Surge, though, have been lights out since we headed over towards the bar side. They're here first over towards P6 as well.
Yeah, actually not really in a tradable position. He knows there's going to be a ton of pressure falling on his shoulders. Finds the first one as well. The rest of the team reinforcing. But before that, let's find out how Seattle are dealing with this. With a Seattle Surge, listen in.
I hear him bed on me.
Bed? I don't see him in the back. I don't see him.
I think I hear him top cat.
I don't see him.
I hear him bed on me. I hear him in the balcony strip.
I hear him top cat. I bottom bed. I think
he's in kitchen, Mack. I don't see anything now.
I'm carrying kitchen. I don't see him.
In kitchen. Side kitchen. Yeah, back door now.
Back door. Up your stairs.
Stairs got me. Nice. Last guy.
A-Dom fellow.
Last guy. That's last guy.
I'll go bottom bed. Try 7 times. That's it.
Yeah, that's last guy. I'm coming up.
I'm one shot.
Alright, I'm finding kitchen. 1v1. One down. 3. Last guy's shooting.
Yeah, P1.
I have time. Go, Dante, go.
Alright, try to get in the kitchen and hold the kitchen. I'm watching your side door.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go top cat.
Okay.
Me back door. P4 dead. I'm going top cat.
Back door.
I can't see him. He's on a head glitch.
Back door. One shot.
Still back kitchen. Back door dead. P1, art dead. Art, shit on.
3.
Couches, TVs. Where'd he go? He's going couches right now.
He's couches, right side couches. Okay.
I'm on the P4. Yeah, should we
Alright, I ran away off time. Someone has to get it.
I'll get time. On the right.
Back kitchen, big weak, square.
Back kitchen, double.
Right side,
I'm getting on time. I know.
Right side, big door.
I heard you. Right side, big door dead. I'm looking down. Almost square, bro.
I'm running through left.
I'm looking deep for wall, bro. Scrapz is deep. Yeah, I'm first on time. Hold on. Big door got me. Right side, big door.
Big guy needed me.
Where is he?
He's square in time somewhere.
Con block.
Alright, I'm new. You guys gotta fight old.
Seattle Surge are on the cusp of 200 points. Florida Mutineers trying to get their first 100. It is have to be perfect from here. Fortunately, we've seen comebacks on this map before. Can Florida do it this time against a Seattle Surge who are barely missing a beat?
Fella was the catalyst for them over towards P2, where they got the majority of those 92 points. On the first rotation of Hills, he's been the catalyst here, but he's left all alone. Mack, Pred combining well. That's going to be a rotation locked in, although a little bit of a split here for Florida Mutineers. While Seattle are ready for the push that's inevitably going to start coming on through. Big kills coming in from Vico from one side because you got the cover on the other. Lovely break from Florida. 49 seconds to play with here, Brycey. They can bring this back if they can find every single point. They're within touch and distance. Good rotation over towards kitchen. You're looking pretty. Still a lot of time to go over towards P2, though. Can they lock it down?
Yeah, Seattle trying to get pressure from all angles, keep it on that mini-map, but they have managed to stop them first. Seattle wanted to be in position before they hit it. They're not going to be able to. Castle still alive. Goes for the second chow. That is a disgusting snap from him, and he tries to get out for this rotation. It will now be on Vehicle. He has to make something here. He has to give his team the opportunity to get in the kitchen and make the plays.
Florida will have a read on this now because Simp is actually going to find 2 to find that little bit of scrap time, but because those kills have come in, it's scrap time. Florida know they've got a free route over towards kitchen. Cleared out the backside, nobody in here. Let's get ourselves set up because we need another big hold. That was a decent rotation in P2 coming out from Florida. The break coming in towards the end is, what consequential of you having the rotation over towards P3? You let Seattle spawn behind you, you give up those 10 seconds because there's a full 60 on offer here.
And now they just have to hold. Seattle Surge again, circling it, trying to make sure Capsule finds the first and the second and the third! Unbelievable snapping from him where they need him the most. And Seattle Surge try to set up, but they find nothing but Big Cap. And they have to hold again. It is still flawless hardpoint they need.
Oh, that's a big nade coming through. You're right. 23 seconds here to go over towards kitchen. It's looking like all Florida. And this time around, they need to rotate better over towards bar. We've seen Seattle get themselves into a hefty lead by the time we finished over towards P4. This time around, though, Vehicle He's in a position where he can do something, but he needs the rest of his teammates to combine with him at the front.
And now the pressure's on Florida. Let's find out how they are feeling with the Florida Mutineers. Listen in.
D1 corner, one shot. D1 corner, one shot in the right corner. In the right corner.
Coming through, man.
That one's gonna be my reception desk. Reception desk.
Spot dead. I got two.
Reception desk. Good shot. Stay down. Lamar reception desk. Last guy. I spawned dead. Responding mid.
Okay. I none of the corners. One reception desk is one shot.
Spawn, one shot on time. He's got heady. And then the other one.
Reception desk. Two reception.
They team killed. One spawn on time.
D1 on you. D1. One spot.
And Florida Mutineers in the comms, they've caught a few things wrong, and unfortunately they haven't managed to get in, but Vehicle finds two when he needs it, and they have just broken this before they lose the game. The problem is going to be for Florida is that while they get this scrap time, it's over to restaurant. Seattle Surge will be here first for the rotation ton.
Oh, accuracy in a beautiful spot over towards the dual side. Even the bullet damage doesn't kill Capsule, but the rest of the team will be there to clean up shop. 7 seconds for Seattle Surge. Florida, what's the plan? Where's the break coming from? It's looking like we're going to go through mid, we got to go through dual, but you got to do it quick.
You just got to go. You just got to go at the moment. Florida haven't even got close. They're taking too long, and they're dead, and they're done. And that was maybe just a misstep at the end. They weren't able to break in the bar properly. They didn't get the points they wanted to. And as they fought for the scrap time, Seattle said, all right, we'll take 7 at new.
Flashes of brilliance, if I'm honest, from Florida Mutineers. The odd occasion here and there where Capsule's put into a spot to make the plays. They look good. But if they're not there first, the holding from Seattle, the best team in the game on Hotel Hardpoint at it, we got prime example is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, every single time they had a good rotation, they locked in the majority of that time. It was very rare that we seen a break coming through from the Florida Mutineers, who actually managed to beat Seattle last time around that they played this map. But this time around, it will be the Seattle side that take it away. No real massive standouts for me. Honestly, I think accuracy found himself in a couple of good positions, soaking up that hill time. Attack in hand, just holding down the lanes. But from the Florida Mutineers, not enough when we got inside the point. Vehicle, not the best start, coming back into it, dropping to 1800 damage. You expect maybe a little bit more. He found a couple of good moments, I want to say, especially towards P2 and heading over towards P5 when the potential flanks were coming in, when the breaks were coming in. That's where he would potentially be to find something for this Florida side. But really, if you think about Florida and the hills that they found, it was P2 and P3. But there is still another 4 hills on this map, bro. See, where they didn't really have too much success. Yeah, okay, P2 to P3, the rotations were looking pretty nice, but you need to be good the entire map against a team like Surge.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, about halfway through, I was a little bit worried that it was just a mismatch for these two teams. And yeah, you still have to give full credit to Florida, right? Like, the fight back there all the way. Maybe a quicker break over towards double benches, and they could have found something. This was a little bit too slow, in my opinion. Obviously, Capsule tried to make a hero play, but too many of Seattle was set up. And I think Florida were more worried about holding on to last hill than getting the new.
Yeah, it's one of those when you're so close to the point of your Seattle, you can just kind of sneak in for that final little kill. We know the spawns can be a little bit funky with over towards the back spar side. Things can get a little bit interesting over there. Didn't want to give up those final few seconds on that hill that they had control of, so I can kind of understand the, I want to say, caution heading over towards the restaurant, but you kind of throw it to the wind at that stage, haven't you? Things are so close for Seattle to bring this one back and finish the game. You've got to be quicker, but it is going to be an LCLO Search and Destroy coming up, and I want to reiterate what Ant was saying. Vehicle, typically, when he was on this Florida side, a lot of people think of Havoc as the S&D star, and rightfully so, but Vehicle was a really big player for them on this map specifically. Very much about those bomb plants coming on through, so keep an eye on that. Some big stats coming in from him, which we will delve into once again when we get into it. So, this is the first time we've actually seen LCLO in quite some time, I want to say, for Florida Mutineers. We haven't seen it too much, but with Vehicle back into the lineup, it's obviously going to be a play for them to make this map a priority. They have to make sure they get it done. A 5-1 record for them against Seattle's 4-4. You've got to tie the series up here.
Yeah, you would certainly hope so. And just kind of reiterate what's on the line here. Obviously, bounty match. The money is on the line, but also in the bigger scope of things here for Florida, they aren't a million miles away from potentially making a Cinderella run. I know they are quite low on the totem pole. They're below Vegas. They've only got 70 points so far in this entire season. But there's still a good amount of points left on the board. get some of their qualifier matches, have a good major, and we might be talking about going into major number 5, exactly what could be happening. But Florida have to show some signs of life. They have to show us why they could be the underdog, right? In this race, at the moment, nobody's talking about them. Where it's all about Vegas. Can Vegas make the run? Nobody cares about Florida. They have to make people care about whether or not they can make the moves to make them a contender.
I mean, look, we talk about London kind of probably out of it by now. I think it's safe to say that they will be very much struggling for 8th unless they go on to win maybe the next 2 majors. But Florida are in a position where they're still within touching distance, but it is going to be a very, very difficult road. They have to be pretty much flawless. We have to see some good performances. We have to see some online wins. And while it may well come off the back of your search and destroy records, we know Florida notoriously have been solid at search and destroy throughout the season. Seattle have grown in confidence in this mode, though, after a pretty terrible start. So Seattle's record 4-4 doesn't kind of tell the full story. Definitely been better as of recent, and as mentioned, we haven't seen this from Florida in a little while, but Vehicle has been important for them. I'll just read through the stats again. When he's the main bomb carrier, whilst in this roster, actually was the biggest in terms of actually putting that bomb down. Mack quite high alongside of him as well. Most plants when it comes down to the CDL with those 2 players early on. First blood, though, is going to come in for Vehicle. An important one at that as well. These offensive rounds is where he really does excel, but nice to find one on the defensive as well.
And now for Florida, it's all about just holding the angles.
Should be a kill.
You have the advantage. You have a little bit of map control. And you can always go for a retake if that bomb goes down, which it will.
Not going to get himself out here as Simp finds a kill to now make this as 3 versus 3. Røkkr answering back on the outside, but Mack just sitting pretty. Outside of bar, this fight will be crucial.
Here we go. That'll be a double chow. In with the first. The second, though, Bragg does get that trade in the end. Simp, left. I think he might get just awful timing here. The player's going to come behind him as well, and Fellow will take him down. And it felt like a slow glacial round from both teams as they look to work the outside of the map.
Florida actually concentrating a lot of resources out there. You've seen Vehicle find the first blood up top office. All of a sudden, you've got Bragg over towards the outside of the map as well. I mean, it's just easy stuff from Florida Mutineers, picking away around that air control field side. Nicely done, and ultimately it works in their favor. They get the numbers, play them as best they can. Seattle Surge, no answer for them. First blood coming through, first round coming through for Florida Mutineers.
And yeah, I think the first blood is probably the catalyst for it as well. It gave them the confidence to keep pushing out because they didn't really want to engage their Seattle Surge. Just went for the interior bomb plant. But now, Fellow with a sniper doesn't hit anything. Are they going to make a B push here? They do have a little bit of control on the outside, Tunt. It's all about the call for Florida.
It's always tempting. You don't see too much action down this side. You think to yourself, maybe we can get going. Good shots coming in from Simp. They were crucial. Fellow flinch, so can't get the shots coming in, but Predator's going to get caught. Nicely done by Fellow. Good repositioning, good awareness. And now we'll definitely think about a B hit, or are they? Looking at this, it may well still be A. A lot of options on the cards here for Florida Mutineers, but they got to make one shortly.
There comes the pressure. Already up. Mack takes down Capsule before he can do anything, and that bomb is going to be down as well. Florida had the numbers. Fellow gets another sniper. At this point, maybe they should play around him. Mack trying to just make sure he stays alive. Players coming towards him again. Another kill for Mack. He is defeating him on the inside as well. And accuracy is left in a 1 versus 2, but he is down. And Mutineers get another round.
Nice round from Fellow. We don't get to see the second snipe, but the first one was crucial and breaking things open. The first bloods may well be crucial here as well. Both these two teams sitting at similar percentages, but it is Florida, the ones who convert the most. 72% of the time, those first bloods are counting in round wins for Florida Mutineers. There's 2 first bloods, there's 2 rounds for Florida, who don't get the bomb down actually very quickly at all there. They don't get it down at all, actually, Bruce. They're typically very active, though. 73% of their offenses, they are going for those bomb plants, and there is going to be Vehicle the majority of the time, not getting it down, but they don't need to. 4 kills in a row from Fellow.
Yeah, he is changing this a little bit. Capsule will get the first blood as well. And what Fellow has done is put the fear in the Seattle Surge. They won't want to work any side of the map he is currently on with that sniper.
And that's bombed down outside of field as well. I'm not sure if Capsule got a read on that, but you can see the positioning from Florida Mutineers may well give you the indication that they have. Accuracy will fall down to Bragg as well. Dangerous spot now for Surge. 3-0 is a difficult angle, but Sib can't find the shots. Follow's still alive and kicking.
I think Sib's had enough of challenging here. Gets away with that one, but maybe not many more. Wants to get the bomb. See if he can grab it. Does. They're going to try and get out and make something happen. That has been called out. Fellow sees it. And knows they have to go inside. There's no way they're going to be at the moment.
And they know what that would have been for the bomb. Here comes Capsidal. Just the dagger in the side. Sib will fall. Pred left in a 1 versus 4. Yeah, he may well be an absolute phenom, but good luck with this one.
Well,
hold on a second.
Times against him, eventually gonna fall. And it is the clock that takes down Pred. He has no more options. And Florida Mutineers looking pretty flawless so far, Ton.
Yeah, it's solid. It's just that back off the first bloods. When the initial push comes over towards the B side from Seattle, you lose the bomb straight away. Capsule then can just chill around that side of the map, wait for the sound cues. Somebody pushes it. We can flank right behind and kill him pretty easily. So that first kill is really crucial, has been for the fight the past few rounds, and was massive there for the Florida Mutineers this time around as well. Seattle Surge, you can't have your bomb carrier die in that kind of position. Always a tough one to recover the round, but 5 in a row from Fellow, 4 in a row from Brack. Dominant so far from the Florida side. That should be 6 for Fellow, but accuracy is made of stronger stuff.
Every nade and everything going against him, and eventually will fall. And it is just dangerous. Fellow is working this map with the sniper like a surgeon with a scalpel, but Sib finds him in the end and brings it back to a 3 versus 3. It's a counter snipe.
Good aggression from Vehicle, though. I'll trade that one out. Seattle Surge are constantly on the back foot here. Every first blood going Florida's way. Every round so far going Florida's way. And right now, Seattle don't really have too much of a read on it. Brack not in the best of positions, though, because a bomb plant here would be useful for Florida. 3v2 scenario. Eventually, we'll find himself over towards that B side. Got to be the player. Did he get the sound cue onto Mack? He did. Mack around the corner. Doesn't matter. And now a 1 versus 3 for Pred once again. Brack finds another to his name. Florida Mutineers are cooking on gas right now.
They really are. And I think one of the criticisms you can have of Seattle Surge in that round, and maybe a few of the others, is nobody's really in a position to trade anybody. Like, obviously, they're going to have some issues with any of these players with the sniper that obviously Fellow's been using. He's getting the first bloods, but when you've got Fellow and Brack, I think it's 5-1 and 6-0. It shows that nobody is really just around to either put the pressure on or even try to trade something. Like, you're going to have to make an adjustment here because nothing is really working.
It almost feels like they're a little bit lost as well. The Florida Mutineers are putting themselves either in weird positions or just ones that Seattle on. Ready for Fellow with another. And they may well line up inside the bar. The challenge is going to come through. Vehicle will be stunned up by that one. Accuracy is able to answer back. But Seattle Surge have never found a first blood here as far as I'm aware. Sib may have found one last time. Oh no, it was actually Accuracy who fell, but Vehicle will find Sib. And again, Florida Mutineers constantly on top here.
And after they put it back to 3-3, I thought they might have an Accuracy. Almost catches Fellow, though. Fellow will eventually get out there before he does go down. Another fight going in towards the middle. Pred trying to find Vehicle, but he has to back off as well.
Yep.
Seattle Surge still a ray of hope in this round, but it is fading fast as they are finding themselves outnumbered. But Pred finds one second from Pred. It's now a 1 versus 1. Seattle Surge, they need this. They need the dream. They need a Pred, and down he goes. Laughing at one of the superstars of the CDL. Too easy in the end.
Oh, he gets some good timing. Oh, Pred's 1v2 over towards the backside kind of deserved the round. The knife pull immediately to find the second. But again, every road leads to a Florida Mutineers round win. Whichever way you put it, whatever happens with the first bloods, which actually have all still won over towards the Florida side, they are finding the round wins. It's 5-0. This one could be over very quickly.
It'll be Fellow versus Sib again, and he jumped out of it. Sib's gone for it. Fellow's actually backed off. He was not ready for that chow. Actually, we'll get first blood, and Pred will get the second here. A little bit of life for Seattle. Fellow trying to play his life, but only has a pistol, and he will get done by Pred this time. And Caps will also fall. Seattle Surge finally on the board.
It's a clean round as well. First blood they find, first round they find. eventually getting themselves onto the board, but it feels like too little too late. Those first 2 kills coming in the middle of the map, it's almost a guarantee around at that stage. The initial break that's coming from Florida, who, if anything, have been maybe a little bit passive on their attacks, been waiting to play around Fellow, and rightfully so with the stat line that he's putting up right now. A little bit more of a rushed approach from Florida this time. Shocking or maybe to finish the game. Doesn't pay out, so Seattle Surge, the tiniest of glimmer of hope at this stage, but Florida still in commanding position.
Is this an adjustment from Seattle? Is it more aggression? They're trying to get in as well, but he checks the corner, and Fecal plays the timing perfectly in the end. Another first blood. Simp brings it back to a 3 versus 3. Can Seattle this time defy the odds?
Oh, I was about to say it may well be open. He may well get a bit of good timing, but Brack turns around at the right time. Pred gets cut down. Fellow with a snipe accuracy. 1v3 to stay in the game.
Never needed ice more than this, but Fecal will cut him asunder before he does anything. If you're thinking that search was one-sided, you are right. There was very little life from Seattle Surge in that one. Big plays from Florida. They played around the sniper. They got in the right positions. And truthfully, it was just a weird S&D in terms of expecting some jeopardy, really.
Well, I think, honestly, Florida played that completely differently to how we maybe would have expected. We talked about the vehicle stats because we thought it was such an important thing in terms of bomb plants. Not a single one out of Florida Mutineers. 73% of their offenses, they usually find a plant. But that's such a higher win rate with that as well. That is something that maybe Seattle look towards, to consider that that's maybe the route that Florida will go down with this map. But they didn't play that whatsoever. They just went for the first bloods. Seattle, when they found one, they would find a round. But every single time that Florida found that first bloods, which they did, 6 of those 7 rounds, 3 of them from Fecal, they walked away pretty comfortably, Bryce.
Yeah, they did. And you're right, obviously felt like big plays. I would say Fecal getting that many first bloods, something we didn't really expect. But if you're Seattle, you kind of want to just get that one out of the memory, get back to a respawn, and hope you don't go to map 5, because if it's anything like map number 2, it's a dark cloud ahead.
Yeah, it's always going to be tough. Florida always going to rely on the search and destroys. Well, obviously, the Florida of old, who were extremely, extremely polished in that mode. Things have got a little bit crazy since the rosters have changed up a couple of times, but Fecal coming back in, offering those 3 first bloods with his weight in gold at that stage. Good play from him. Florida Mutineers back in this series, but you still need to find a respawn, Brycey.
Well, let's see if they can find one. Coming up after the break, we dive into control. Let's find out who comes out ahead. Don't go anywhere. More action right after this.
Upgrade your game with a... The Call of Duty League is presented by the GMC Hummer EV Pickup, the world's first all-electric super truck. Upgrade your game with the Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is brought to you by the new series Citadel, premiering on April 28 only on Prime Video.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League. If you are just joining us, we had a pretty good hard point, but a lackluster S&D, and it leaves us all tied up with Florida Mutineers versus Seattle Surge. Control is next. Can Florida find a respawn ton?
Well, I mean, this is a solid chance. Typically, when you do have Havoc in your team, because he has been a huge performer on this map. Florida sitting at 4-4. They were 4-1 on this though, and they've lost the last three, so it really doesn't bode well for the side of Florida. On the other side, Seattle sitting at 3-2, not necessarily the best stats either, but you do have Pred, of course. So it was maybe a late addition to the map pool for Seattle. We haven't seen them play a great deal until recently, where they have been able to release Pred. But it's just something that kind of surprised me. You know, we haven't necessarily thought of, you know, when we see Seattle played a Fortress control, you would let Pred go and kind of go around that kind of area. Now with Elisilo in here a little bit more often for Seattle, Pred is somebody they can release to try and cause havoc. Florida Mutineers have got to keep tabs on him.
And already a little bit of positioning for this one. Vika will be on the flank, finds the first one, but has he stopped this push enough? The rest of the players are starting to get through. As that B-tick slowly but surely will reach his destination.
And staying alive here for Vika is crucial. We'll find a second over towards the bar side. Yes, Seattle may be putting time up, but he is the nail in the side of them. Potentially three, can't find the fourth. But is that going to set up the rest of the team to maybe come and clean something up here? Brack will be able to find one, but that B-tick is still coming through here, Brycey. Fellows in a position to maybe do something about it. Here come the nades, but damage already done at B for Seattle.
Pred's wondering whether or not he should just finish that second tick. His teammates have fallen there, still falling. Trying to find the first.
God.
He won't! Gun by Vehicle. And that second tick has not come in for Seattle. 50 seconds left on the clock. And they are pinned back into the spawn.
And that's a very typical play that you see on Control. You get the carrot dangled over towards the harder point. You have some options, you find some kills, you get some control. And then when you don't get it, you all of a sudden don't have a lot of time to go over towards the typically easier A point. Good shots coming in from Vika, starting off 5-1. Bigger slaying performance than we really have seen from him typically. Sib will find another kill over towards B. There's that carrot being dangled once more.
Well, carrot dangled and swallowed because they're actually onto both points. B's rocking up, A's rocking up. Florida not in a position really to challenge either at the moment. Vehicle is going to have to come back because they're going towards A.
Oh,
and he will
tough.
catch a nade to the face and down he goes. Florida get the rest over, somehow still alive. Sib looking to get B with 24 seconds on the clock. Seattle Surge are here in numbers. This should be done.
Yeah, because Florida push out over towards the A side so strongly. Seattle Surge have a free spawn and a free walk-up field. There's B eventually secured. I want to say I really actually feel for Vekl there. That's just a nade to slow down Vekel's inevitable push that's going to come through. The nade then lands on his forehead. He still finds a kill, and they will find that A break. But a tough break from Vekl, who's having a good map so far, 6 and 2. Now Brack and Cove had time to set up over towards this A side. It is not an easy break. Seattle still with work to do.
And that's a full wipe. They're going to push them back once again. They may have given them B, but they will not allow them anywhere near A. Do they have the time and the positioning? Probably 2 more pushes here for Seattle Surge. They're looking to find a break, a gap into it as well, but down they fall as Capsule's pushed up, so is Vekl. They are farming them off the spawn.
Vekel's just been a complete menace in bar. And Pred is a player we talked about who may well be that one that causes those issues. Right now, he's causing issues for Surge by the fact that he's 2 and 7, hasn't been able to get anything going. This has been a really good defensive round from Florida, and especially a good one from Vekl. He's going to end at 11 and 3 or so, as Capsule will be able to lock this in. There's only 2 players left from Surge. No hope, no prayer in this one. Florida Mutineers going to be 1 to the good after just a really good SMG performance from Capsule and Vekl. 12 and 6 and 11-3 respectively. They've just pushed Seattle Surge back as far as they possibly can do. No hope at all of getting control of it.
Yeah, a little bit flat from Seattle is probably the best way to put it. There was no big pushes from them. There was no big kill feed moments. They got into B because of the spawn and then nothing. And that is full credit to Florida, by the way. Capsule and Vekl went to work. They stayed alive. They got the streaks in. And they just kept making sure they couldn't hit them with numbers.
It's just that perfect defensive round from the SMGs, in all honesty. When Vekel's pushed up, Capsule's in a position to then hold down in different areas. But Vekl just played his life so wonderfully at every single stage. Beautiful plays out of the Spaniard. Can he keep this up, though? Attack is a very different beast. Seattle Surge need to try and lock this one in. And I think you're right. It was still a little bit flat for them, but still well played by Florida.
Well, you are right, though. Doing it on defense is one, doing it on offense is another. Capsule looking to make a move. The dead side has popped the super level, but it's Sib who calls it perfectly as well. Will not let him get any more damage done. Vekl now going to do the same thing. I think he's been hurt as well, and Sib says, all right, you can keep running up these stairs, and I'll keep knocking you back down.
I mean, it's just very readable, isn't it? Good awareness from Sib still. And now this is a difficult position for Florida Mutineers because you're being pushed back. You haven't found those kills over towards that B side. We'll have to default back over towards A, but look at the positioning from Surge. They're going to hit you from a couple of different angles when you do find your way over.
There's Vekl into it as well. Looks for the gunfight with Pred. Puts 2 in him. And Pred will have to back off. Capsule even looking for the trade as well. Florida now on this point with 34 seconds left. They're trying to get reinforcements over here as well. Brack identifies the flank. Vekl staying alive with that second tick, and Seattle Surge may jump this at the last second.
Second tick is in. The third may well follow. Great reads coming in from Vekl again. Big brain plays. Honestly, he's been so impressive in this map so far. If you told me that Pred would be backing down from a fight against Vekl in this game, I'd have called you crazy. Eventually, he's going to get gun. That's not a favorable gunfight. 13 and 5. Pred eventually heating up in this game. Has found a fire spree, as that A capture did still come through for Florida Mutineers. You will want to continue it. A 6 who will get him. A hold of that cruise missile, and here it comes. There you go. Pred eventually on the board, eventually online in this game. Slow it to turn up, but turn up indeed. 6 in a row. Can he make it more?
So taking down Brack is huge as well. It gives them full map control. Mack has to be dug out at the same time. Pred looking for players in the spawn, and he's going to find an easy one on Pharaoh. No! Doesn't have a gun out. Will eventually just get wall banged. But they still have to find Mack. Eventually they will do. Brack will take him down. 48 seconds left on the clock here. The Florida Mutineers are looking to move forward as both teams are up.
That's your first job done if you're Florida. Clear out your spawn. Now you're going to push forward and find those Seattle players in and around the site. Accuracy will, of course, be playing slow and methodical, waiting on the push to come through. Sip with an important kill over towards the backside as well. Florida seem to be waiting on something, but you've got to move. 25 seconds.
Yeah, Florida playing this glacially slow. Vekl will find a kill now. This has to be the catalyst for him. They are burning time down every single second. There will not be a second push. And Accuracy still up here, still waiting. Finds vehicle, goes to the door, has to back up at the same time as well. 8 seconds left to go. And Florida have left everything to the wind. They have not put pressure on Seattle at any point into this one. One lost opportunity, 1.8 seconds. Pred's going to come flying through as well. Now takes them down, and that is done. Seattle Surge, there was 2 pushes there potentially. It looked like they were waiting for the kills, and Seattle were like, all right, well, we'll wait too then.
I wonder if they're just waiting for Seattle to make a mistake, waiting for a pick to try and find your push through, but yeah, you're very right. I mean, they just waited far too long. It's one of those moments, Seattle are like, okay, well, cool. Yeah, okay, you found the kills that we've been pushing up players up towards bar, pushing up towards blue. That's where you know, we're going to try and cause havoc. But as soon as they get pushed back, they just sit tight. And Florida Mutineers do the same. It's a strange one.
The only thing I can think is that realistically, Florida Mutineers were waiting for Seattle to get aggressive. Maybe hoping to catch somebody going for that flank or being aggressive and going for that map control, but they really didn't find it. Vehicle finds 2 off the rip on the defense here, but it is a game of 2 halves.
Just the constant aggression from these SMGs. Vehicle is having a hell of a game at 18 and 7. Oh, fella's going to get caught out here, though, as Simp does start to heat things up here as well. Typically not a good map for the young Slayer, but 14 and 10, not too bad. We'll need to continue this form if Seattle want to find this game. Get some terrible timing. Bracken Cook can now push back over towards A. Contested at this moment in time. Mack, the last one alive, should be dealt with. Eventually is. Florida, hold on for now.
It looks like a similar time to last time. Seattle Surge spawning up towards B. They're going to be there in numbers as well. Simp overextending, looking for the players coming off for that respawn as well. Finds one, Pred will find another. And now there should be pretty plain sailing. Vehicle, the key player here for the Florida Mutineers, as he looks to try and find any player he can to allow his teammates to reinforce.
And Florida may well have one stab at this and then find themselves defending A once again, but this time around it's going to have to be for a lot longer. That kill from Capsule, though, is maybe going to tempt them to try and find a push here, but 2 kills in for Seattle. This should be it now. Capsule may well find one, and needs to be a hero here. Hero play here. Bryce, not going to happen, but he will be locked in. Good play from Seattle. Florida Mutineers never able to stagger Seattle in that stage, never able to find a breakthrough. Seattle Surge now complete control of this side of the map. If you're Florida Mutineers, you've got to get over to here. You've got to batten down the hatches. Big kill coming in from Fellow. Pred will find one. A small glimmer of hope. Yeah, this is massive.
So big. Capsule tries to take for his life. Mack looking for the players as well. Vehicle's going to blow the car up on him, but he still finds a kill and he's alive. An income with Pred with the missile. They're trying to just get them back at every single point. Brack falls off the radio tower. Pred now surging forward as Seattle Surge. They smell blood in the water.
Pred ran from behind. Finds that push through. Florida have never been able to finally get themselves in a good position to defend this. Now they've got to sprint and now they've got to move. Seattle Surge here defending the point. They're capturing the point. 1 tick left to go.
And Florida thought they might have had something here. They started off high on the defense, but they do eventually get the clear ton. Actually, the only one left alive at radio tower. Everybody look at him. He still finds a kill in the vehicle. He knows more pressure is just piling onto him as well. But 1 tick stands between Seattle Surge and a victory on the attack.
Big kill. That's a big kill. Simp falling towards that side will now allow Florida to properly set themselves up over towards it. It takes 1 good push them from Seattle, but from this position, it's sometimes very difficult. Mack will find Capsule, so that player behind you that's typically always been there is not there to be worried about. Fika will be felled as well. 3 players from Florida on the map right now. The crucial one is Brack. He must stay alive for Florida.
You see Pred trying to put pressure on. Actually finds 2. Pred's going for it at the same time. Only 1 player left. Brack is going to go down, and that's Seattle Surge with the attack. Twice Florida Mutineers have given up B completely. And only 1 time it's worked for them. Can they now find an attack ton?
And what's difficult for Florida is when they're getting those SMGs into that bar side, when they are being able to have that pressure over towards the Seattle spawn, they're finding a lot of success. Of course, it is a crucial component of control. You need to be having those players to cause that chaos, to flank from behind when some pressure comes in on the defensive side of things. But when they haven't got that, they don't seem to have a lot else. Vehicle is falling off a precipice in terms of the KD. He was flying at one stage, still doing well, but had a bad run there. Seattle Surge is smelling blood in the water now. Can they hold their defense to find another lead? My goodness, if Pred is firing like this, he was 2 and 7 or something. Now 20 and 14.
He has flicked the switch, and it is a horrifying prospect for anybody in the league. Florida will try and make their way up this map again. The call must come in, A or B. At the moment, they're going to get some bodies underway as Mack will continue to deflect any pressure towards B as well. This may be a settle. Get A and then work from there.
Accuracy over towards the tower side, waiting for the rest of the team to find a push over towards A. Mack is happy to... What?
Knife meets gun. Knife wins.
Oh.
And Vehicle finds 2 on the point as well. Florida Mutineers, they have the advantage in the lives. They have the advantage now of having it onto A. You can already see Seattle Surge do not want this. They are going to go to B. They are going to defend it for 2 minutes.
And the thing is with that pressure that Mack was trying to put on before Capsule chefed him on, that spawns them over towards the A side, which is what Florida were finding a lot of success on. They do get a hold of that, but it keeps them away from B crucially. So if they then push over towards A and Seattle find a couple of kills, it's not going to spawn them over towards B. It's not going to be a free route up. But now they have complete field control. Vehicle at the spearhead of this Florida team. They need this attacking run. They got some good presence over towards B. Just need to stay alive, take your time, keep finding these kills. When you find a decent wipe, jump on the point.
Well, last time Florida was slow. This time they have the time to put that strategy through its paces. Clock stopped. Vehicle waiting to see who makes a mistake. Nobody on the minimap. We can see it. Accuracy already finds fellow. Mack gets Brack. And Vehicle is just waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. But he has to wait even longer now. Nobody is going to be here for a trade or anything.
I think what he's hoping is that you'll find this kill and that will bait Seattle to like, okay, well, we need to find him. We need to do something about this, but they haven't come hunting at all. Mack will fall after starting to try to be aggressive himself, so maybe a misstep from Surge here. There's a slight creak in that door for Florida to potentially walk through now.
Vehicle also going to go down just off the cruise missile.
Oh, big
Mack
kills.
gets Capsule. And 1 minute still left in this game. It is all to play for. The lives are tied up. Brack's going to find accuracy, but not the gunfight. And Florida, every time you think they get a bit of map control, they do not find the kills they need.
It's so tough because they keep getting presented situations that may lead to something happening over towards B, and Seattle shut it down with clutch kills every single time. It was accuracy before, was Mack after. And now that minute and 30 you had is cut down to just 30 seconds. Vika will find Simp though. Mack will find one onto Brack, will slow that down, but again, Seattle Surge in the same position they were on their defensive round last time. Florida couldn't find an opening. They must find one now.
The time is ticking, and they have to find it. Vehicle is on the flank. He is looking for players. He needs to find every single one. Vehicle, there's the first. He finds Simp. Knows there's going to be another one up here. He finds Mack as well.
Where's everyone else?
Open. Can they walk through? Accuracy finds 2. Pred finds a 3rd. Nothing comes of it as well. And a dive, but a loss. And the control goes to Seattle Surge. Florida looked better, but Seattle Surge said, hey, respawns our game. We'll see you in the next one.
Oh, that's really tough. Florida Mutineers in that game, it just felt like they were waiting for the perfect moment at every single stage on these attacks. Sometimes you gotta take a risk. Vika was flanking behind, finding those kills, and quite often was alive in places that Seattle do not want him in. But he needs the backup. He finds 2 and finds a lot of actual Seattle players turning around to have to deal with him in that stage. But the rest of the Mutineers are not there. They're not ready for that push. It felt so strange because, to be honest, I felt like Florida played some really good stuff and then just didn't. It was weird. It was like the build-up was good. You'd clear out your spawn. Okay, we got field control. We got vehicle in a good position. Now let's execute. And they never did. It was a very, very strange attacking scenario from Florida on a multiple of occasions. Vehicle had a decent map, but ultimately Seattle Surge, they just play that slowly. They let Florida come towards them. They don't bat an eyelid.
I think there were a couple of issues there for Florida. I think Fellow and Brack weren't really winning the gunfights they needed to. Capsule and Vehicle couldn't put the pressure on because they were just never in a position or supported where they could get mixing. Yeah. And you kept seeing them wait. They're like, all right, we're ready. Somebody win a gunfight and we can go. And they couldn't. They just couldn't get anywhere. And I even think Seattle Surge actually started to play out another tack for that in the end, and they were just all posted up. Yeah, Accuracy and Simp had a really good time over towards that B side, specifically Accuracy. If I'm honest, he found a couple of really clutch kills on that B side. It was just a really nice attacking round that kind of solidified the game for Seattle as well. This was nice from Mack, find himself in these positions. And then all of a sudden, you're in a perfect spot over towards A. And yeah, Florida just maybe didn't respect the B pushes enough that were coming through from Seattle, which was quite often. Eventually, it does get a hold of it over towards that attacking side, which allowed that A push to then happen. And again, look, we found some good moments from Florida. At this stage,
I mean, you've got to be sprinting towards the point. You can see already the kind of push in the alley, but you're seeing Pred finding important kills. For all that Vehicle's finding in the spawn, so is Pred, so is Mack for the side of Seattle. Hard to get those reinforcements there. Pricey, if they're already dead in the end, clean from Seattle.
I think one of the most telling thing there is realistically, this will give you an idea of why we're probably calling it slow. There were a lot of kills left on the board there for Florida. Like a lot of kills left there. Even with 2 minutes to trying to get to B, they didn't use all the lives. They just weren't able to get the pressure onto the map. And after 4 rounds, maybe an adjustment was needed, because now they'll have to do it in an embassy hardpoint.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt, of course. Vehicle coming in for the first time in a couple of months in terms of the CDL. Of course, he's been chipping away in challenges, but I think you can give them the benefit of the doubt there. Maybe a couple of calls aren't quite what they would be. I mean, the Cellium was there from Vehicle, and that's something that he always really has been judged on. However, you know, his playmaking abilities are definitely there. Not able to get things really going there, and I think he'll be really disappointed because he can put up a map like that. You ask Florida Mutineers, if Vehicle can put up those kind of numbers, majority of the time you're feeling good about it. You're feeling good about a map win. But that's a tough one to take, because honestly, he played the defensive round. It's great. But as soon as he wasn't finding himself in those positions, it was Florida that were collapsing on the defensive side. But he was finding himself in those attacking positions again. But the rest of Florida not able to help him out. So a tough one. But heading into Embassy, I think you're very right. Looking towards the stats on this one, we'll delve in just a second. But the baseline is Seattle said 8-5, Florida 2-7. Hardpoint has been a struggle for Florida Mutineers. Typically, it's very, very difficult to see a route out for the side of Florida Mutineers, and I think they've been disappointed because they know that was probably winnable.
Yeah. We'll say this, though, right? Let's go to silver linings. Let's go to the positives.
Oh, come on.
Seattle, full regain from them, right? Not a great first attacking round. They regained, they made some adjustments, and they figured out what Florida were doing. Florida, on both respawns, have looked okay, right? In that first hard point, they made the comeback, and they started getting mixy. They could have done something in the control as well. Some of those rounds could have gone the other way, and they looked good on the S&D. For Seattle Surge, it has not been a dominant victory in the respawns, and that's maybe the biggest question coming into this was, can Florida do anything against the Seattle team? Well, as we go into this next hardpoint, I'm not fully confident that either team is going to blow this one out of the water, which does mean it could be a close game and it could be glorious.
Well, that's what you want. Our 800th game in the CDL officially. It's a lot of games, Pricey. I still don't think you rank in the top 800th of haircuts in the community, to be honest with you.
Wow, that is just a cheap shot at the worst possible time. Anyway, let's go into this hardpoint and find out what goes on.
Throwing you off, have I?
Trying to be a new codcaster as well, apparently, but we're going to see as both teams obviously dance around position for P1.
Just had to get that one in there. I had to land up a little bit. You know, I don't know how much more time we've got in this series considering Florida's record on this map specifically. But I mean, the silver lining, if you want to talk about them, they beat Atlanta last time out on this one. It's 250-183. Atlanta, of course, are not necessarily the highest of standards of hardpoint teams, albeit with the tiny terrors involved, anything is possible, as well as that shot from Brack onto accuracy. 8 points over towards P1 is not something too bad, but Seattle Surge will still be feeling confident. P2 in their hands right now.
They have it. Mack looking for the first kill. No, it's going to be here as well. Pred combining, actually getting the third. That's about as clean of a P2 setup as you are likely to get. They've already got Pred watching ambulance, making sure that if they push that direction, he can cut them down. It's already going to find vehicle. Florida Mutineers some distance away. Can they make this cohesive? Can they make it good enough? Pred is already going hunting as well. Look at him. He's flying out towards that mini-map, actually holding the back at the same time. And at the moment, Florida Mutineers, they can't even see P2. They don't even know where it is.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle can just sit pretty back here because you got pretty boy Pred running around Laundry, man. It's just such a difficult push. He could be anywhere if you're Florida Mutineers at this stage. Eventually, Vigo will deal with him. Now we can start thinking about a push over towards it with 30 seconds. But bled over towards Seattle now. 3 players up from Florida Mutineers over towards the parking side. Now Pred can start extending over towards that side once again to just try and cause issue. Wonderful hold from Seattle so far. They're going to still got pretty much every single second here.
And now for Florida, the rotation and the hold. Daunting prospect when Pred is playing this well, but he's looking for that last player. That player does happen. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Regardless, Pred wins the gunfight. And Florida have the position. He cannot do this alone. The rest of the Seattle Surge moving into position.
Big kill from Brock actually onto Mack on that opposite side. It would have been a horrible pinch for Florida to try and deal with. They will start spawning over towards the PD side with parking lot there for Seattle. Now the push is going to have to kind of be linear. From Seattle Surge now over towards the top side. Accuracy will find one, but here comes Pred. Not so linear here. The pinch is set up. Wonderful break from Seattle again. A couple of different angles. You find the push where you need to. From the front foot, from the side. Wonderful work from Seattle. They're blowing Florida away right now.
And a lot of it just looks like they cannot deal with Pred as he finds another kill. And finds another kill! 11-2, 5 streak. Maybe he'll get his streak this time around. Another one, Chow, but Capsule will take him down. That's the second time in a 5 streak he's gone. And Capsule will take this scrap time. Florida have this rotation. A better look for them.
It's kind of questioning that push from Capsule, to be honest with you, because it might actually start messing with the spawns just a little bit. Looking like the hold is going to come in here from Florida, but he got a read on accuracy. Yes, you do. But Pred is the first one there from Seattle. Needs some backup though, Bryce. Or does he?
Not at the moment. Florida still holding on by the fingertips. Just making sure they get these trades going through. Now they're in a good position. Capsule will get another one. And finally, a little bit of a breath where they can just make sure that nothing else comes through them as Capsule finds his second. Seattle Surge are filing through the corridors. It is not an easy push for them.
Florida set up. Can Seattle find a way through? Civ will be able to find the first. Can they stagger it? Can they find the flip? No, they cannot. My God. They can just get punished massively. And all of a sudden now Florida, for all that P2 and P3 was so well played from Seattle. It's early days. You can find these kills and find that decent hold. A very good hold actually over towards P3. P4 I should say. Now it's about the rotation over towards the kitchen side. I haven't been able to find much luck here, but fellow on a 4 spree. As the rest of his team on their way. Florida Mutineers with a lead, Bryce.
This is what we wanted. Back and forth. These two teams putting everything on the line for us as well. Fellow can't chow right now because he knows he hasn't got a trade for him. So if he jumps in, he'll just be selling his life. He's waiting for the reinforcements to flood through Laundry. And here they come, the rest of the Florida Mutineers trying to get into this point as well. But Seattle Surge win the first 2. They do not win the next 3. And Vehicle goes to work with 3 himself. It is a break for Florida Mutineers. And Fellow looks for the players off the respawn as well. Snakes but breaks. And we go to P1, and I don't know who's going to be in the lead or who's going to win it.
That's a big vamos in the player cams coming out from Vehicle. Finds the kills, and you know what? Fellow plays it slowly. He has to. Finds a couple of shots and just a little bit of a distraction, and ultimately that's what finds the break from Mutineers. Vehicle is there to find the 3, but it's cleanup crew that gets it done. Capsule now setting himself up. This is another 5 seconds or so that are going to go over towards Florida Mutineers, and after a rotation of hills, it is Mutineers in the lead. Big kill from Fellow as well. That's top PD control. You can soak some P1 time now.
Well, they've just lost it, so all the guns are going to be aiming at that window. Those going to be up there. Brack has his back. Mack will attack, and P1 goes back into neutral. It can be difficult sometimes to soak time on this one, as both teams just look for that positioning before they commit to it. As you know, it's an easy kind of kill for anybody overlooking.
Røkkr will get him off it. Accuracy on Overwatch as per usual, as you mentioned. I'm not sure what Capsule is even pushing that, to be honest with you. You got to start thinking about P2. Vehicle finding the kill up top PD. It's pretty much a free one in the back of accuracy every single time, but it's free time at P1 for Seattle for the majority of that one. 15 seconds to go, and speaking of free time, that will go to Florida as well. A lot of pressure, a lot more pressure actually with Brack in that position. They have actually forced Seattle to be back towards that PD side, so it's not as bad for Florida as it was in that first initial rotation of hills. A potential break is more on the cards than it was last time when Pred was able to run amok.
And they're trying to hold as well. Simp towards the back here. See, there is a spawn out for them. Accuracy is going to be all the way around. They've got to make sure that Florida get in first before that pitch comes through, but Florida cannot get the gunfights they need. Accuracy is going to find Brack. That's exactly what we thought would happen. And Seattle Surge are doing a great job on P2 again. Vehicle eventually breaks it, but again, the trades. It's better positioning from Seattle, but it doesn't matter as the trades keep flying through eventually.
Whoa.
Florida find their way in.
A couple of questionable gunfights there. Capsule with the second one, and accuracy absurd. And now Pred has to try and break this open on his own for this. Scrap time may well be able to, not this time though. The spawn over towards the parking lot. Florida actually already over towards the P3 side. Big kill from Sib. It's going to be a Vehicle to maybe do something over towards P3. Staying alive as Pred finds his way over. That scrap time is going to go Florida's way. Crucial kill coming in from Pred. More pressure though.
And Capsule with a little bit of timing and a lot of luck. But he will have to stay alive here. No trophy for him, and many players against Capsule. You took that gunfight. Eventually does win it, but the rest of the guns and the nades will fly through, and he does fall. Beagle going for his own chow around the corner. There's need to. The nade at the same time looks for another one. He will eventually fall as nades, guns, bombs, and trophies rain upon this hill from both teams.
It's so mixy. Neither team able to get ultimate control, but that might well be it for Florida Mutineers now. It's a 40-point lead. It's 30 seconds at P3 that are on offer. Fight's going to go on over towards P4. That Pred will win. So potential pinch to be set up now as Pred will start firing on shots over from PD side. The rest of the Seattle Surge, it's kind of getting to that stage where you need to challenge for this, and they will do so. Fella will be able to just about slow this one down. It's going to be about this rotation. Big kills from Seattle, though. That's 13 or so seconds that will go their way. They have some presence over towards PD. You cannot let Florida do what they do last time. It was a perfect 60. It's not going to happen this time. Seattle are here.
Oh, well, you say that they're here, they're gone. And this is disastrous. Last time, Seattle Surge could not find a way through the door. They'll be preying on this man. Mack is the man on the pinch. Flies through. Simp will get one as well at the same time as they just continue. Bang! All way through it, and Fecal falls at the same time. Seattle with a perfect break, and they needed it.
How has Mack found those 2 kills? Both absolutely absurd. The perfect break, as you say. 35 seconds now left. 3 players inside the hill for Seattle Surge, locking this one down. There's quite a lot of doors to watch, and which way are Florida gonna come through? Pred will find the first on the vehicle, but the sound cue is gonna be there for Simp. Capsule will find one. Mack answers back, and it's the trades that are falling Seattle's way. Accuracy with 2. That's 20 seconds remaining. It won't quite have them within touching distance of Florida, but they're going to be mightily close by the time we head over towards Kitchen again. Accuracy with 2 on the rotation as well. This is disaster for Florida.
Absolute beamers. And Mack has really turned up in this last couple of hills. He's on a 6 streak himself. He's already in the door. They're on the rotation. Mack attack again as Fecal falls like weed before the side. And another one for Mack. And he continues to go on this streak. And what thought Florida had it has fallen to ruins.
Oh, Capsule. You've got to make that kill. Maybe there's something on the cards if you can do, but it's a Mack 9 spree. That is breaking the backs of Florida Mutineers right now. 35 seconds left to go. Florida are nowhere near this hill. Seattle, crucially, for Florida, actually cannot win here. Pred's on a 5 spree. Mack on a 9 spree. Just continues for Seattle. Fellow's the only one who can slow it down. Mack looking for the 10th. Seattle with a 30-point lead. There's number 10.
It has been a reversal of fortune. Seattle Surge within a stone's throw now of winning this. They can bleed P1. They do not have to worry about P2 if they don't want to, because at the moment, Florida are finding nothing. And here we go. 11 seconds for Seattle Surge.
Just a perfect transition from P5 all the way over to P1 is needed here from Florida Mutineers. It was just so well played from PD to Kitchen from Seattle. And you're right, they can just bleed this P1 time. Mack's going to call in the streak. I don't know if you even need to at this stage, but it just keeps Florida off. Seattle may be thinking about positioning more than bleeding that time over towards P1 right now. 30 seconds left to go before things get a little bit crazy over towards P2. Florida, you need to be perfect.
And they're just going for a vehicle, though, in a good position. He knows he's going to have to fight this up the top as well. Mack will eventually take him down. And any second that gets ticked in here for Seattle Surge is incredible. They are now 8 seconds away. They're going to be playing for P2 as well, but Capsule finds a big gunfight for it as well. Breaking against that last point. Vehicle will win another huge gunfight. Actually versus Capsule could be for all the beans. They need to make sure they do not get locked out of P2. And the nade has fallen. The cruise missile will come in as both teams start to panic.
Oh, Pred was on the flank here, but he's going to be dealt with Vehicle. Simp falls inside the point. This is a lovely break coming in from Florida. It was a spawn over towards the parking side. Now it's Vehicle left alone. He finds the kill. Both teams can still win it here over towards P2, but right now it is Florida Mutineers in the driving spot in terms of locking this hill down. Can they continue to do so?
Well, here we go. Seattle Surge looking for a Pred will find the first. Well, actually, you'll find the second. Capsule on back onto back, though. Both teams make sure they cannot get onto the point. Mack looking to dive into it with 7 seconds. Brack will gun him before he can do anything more. And the biggest thing of this is it cannot be won by Florida Mutineers on P2. They will have to get this time, and they will have to rotate. But 7 seconds again for Seattle Surge.
Seattle Surge, though, are giving a lot of time over towards Florida Mutineers. They're giving them a lot of time to set up for this break. But the break needs to be perfect. It only takes 7 seconds from Seattle to do something about this and end this series. The kills have fallen through, but that's a big one from Fellow. Spawning from Pred over towards PD side. Seattle Surge do not have numbers yet.
They don't, and actually is fighting at the top as well. There's a fight. Røkkr got through. He found a tiny gap, but he's outnumbered. He's almost going to be outgunned as well. He finds one. He has to turn and burn, but Pred will get him, and that's going to be it. There's no way for the backing of this, surely, and the time ticks over. 7 seconds again. Seattle Surge walk away with a hard point, and Florida find nothing but regret, despair, and maybe the opportunity to fight another day, because they looked good today, but not good enough.
That's a tough one. A really tough one. Florida Mutineers pretty much in the driving seat in a couple of these maps that they just ultimately do not come away with the win. Seattle Surge, honestly, it's about that P4 to P5, the Mack 10 spree, the Pred 6 spree, which just puts them in such a commanding position. From then on out, Florida Mutineers played it well, but they had to be pretty much perfect. And it's just so difficult against a side like Seattle to do that. A couple of funky little moments towards that last hill that maybe we found a potential route in for Florida, but they couldn't close it out. Accuracy with a couple of clutch kills, and a lot of them in that map specifically. 31 and 26 from him, but it's the 38 bomb from Pred that will count. And it's the huge, the huge sprint
Mack
from
gets
Mack.
the time. 3 minutes 19 from Mack ton. Did nothing but soak as Pred went for the kills. And if you are Florida, you had that game in the palm of your hand. But Seattle Surge showed us why they can hit another gear. I already don't know what to say. Mack popped off. The hill time was impressive. The streak was even bigger.
I think if you're going to say anything about it, it's to take some positives away from Florida. Map number 1, P2 to P3, you were great. If you could tighten up on some of the other hills, then all of a sudden you're looking at maybe a potentially different game. It's a 50-point hardpoint game. S&D, brilliant. Control, you had your moments where you could have won the game there. Map number 4, the same story. The potential was definitely there from Florida. If they can build on this, maybe there's something there, but ultimately couldn't close it out.
They certainly could not. And let's throw it over now to our wonderful Des to break down everything we've just seen.
$10,000 going Seattle's way and another victory. Great to see you for the Surge. I'll keep these.
That's for you.
Thank you.
I got some more here.
Yeah.
Appreciate
That's
you. Very, very charitable. Can we talk about this Surge squad and what they pulled off in that final game? I was getting nervous for a moment. It looked like Vickle and this Florida team were going to have a comeback, but then they were able to slam the door shut. 3:19 on the clock for Mack, though. Is that a season record?
It has to be.
It has to be. It might be. And I mean, it's not the fact that soaking the hill time is even surprising for Mack at all, because he typically is always that OBJ player when it comes to Seattle Surge, but it's the fact that he not only surpasses 3 minutes, but goes 26 and 23 as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple key moments in this embassy that were just beautiful on the side of Seattle Surge. On that, P4 hill, they get inside, they break it, and they get all that time. And then on rotation, it's Mack and Accuracy who go all the way around the street, and Accuracy finds 2 kills to get them the entry to get kitchen control, and they get right back in a commanding lead of that game. And I just gotta say, man, the control also in that hard point, Accuracy time and time again in the clutch situations when they need an AR to get a big 2-piece, he got it every single time. Lack of an AR presence on the side of Florida Mutineers leaves a gap opening for Accuracy, and he made plays all series long.
I like that you call Accuracy to get a 2-piece, because it was ending 3 rounds with double kills. Accuracy was that man. Today, he drops positive numbers, including a 30-pointer in that game number 4, as the Surge take down the Florida Mutineers 3-1. They bank $10,000 due to the bounty, and of course, another 10 points towards their season record heading into champs. As we take a look at the Surge squad, though, who impressed most on the day? And in fact, pause on that question, because I do want to mention Elisilo. Florida came in. Vic had another great game, 6-1. Are they still one of the most dangerous teams on this map and mode in particular?
With Vickle, absolutely. No, but Florida always has that, possibility of being super dangerous in search and destroy. Vickle, we came into it, we're talking about Vickle's stats on that map, does it once again.
All right, well, now it's time for our Scuff play of the game, and the man who deserves all of the honors, Mr. Mackenzie. Allie, your favorite on the lineup. Break it down. This was his 10 spree.
Yeah, it was literally just on this map for Hardpoint. He was sitting in kitchen. I think that third kill is kind of really what set it going when he pulls out the tack and snaps on the player, trying to make the push from Gas. It was just an easy read. It's on your screen right now. And I mean, just having both these guns and being so versatile with it, I mean, that's the kill I was talking about on the cap. My bad. But he continues to go on to a 10 spree here to close out the game.
Mack popping off earns our Scuff play of the game, and he is on the stream live right now. Congratulations, Mack. You just banked 10K. Was that a little extra momentum in today's match, or were you guys just playing Call of Duty?
Nah, I don't really think it was much of like a motivating factor. I think all four of us just cared more about the CDL points, to be honest.
Matt, congratulations on a huge win. I have to say, you know, you are very much the dirty work player when it comes to Seattle Surge, and it feels like when you're on one, that's when Surge is winning the most comfortably. I wanted to know what it kind of takes for you to kind of get into that flow state, because, I mean, over 3 minutes in Hill, you were positive in KD as well. You were also the bomb planner for Seattle Surge. You were one of the highest engagements after planting that bomb to get that kill and stay alive afterwards in the league. What does it take for you to get comfortable on the map?
I think the main thing for me is just flowing out or bouncing off the comms with my teammates. Like, there's not really much I have to do on this team with players like Sib and Pred. They really carry the slang load for this roster, and I just need to fill the gaps and just take care of the small things.
Mack, you know, the community is always talking about you guys after you guys, you know, you do really well and then you guys have a bad game and they're like, maybe they should change their roster. And it's like you and Accuracy's names who always come up. For you, what do you feel like your role is on this team? And do you have anything you want to say to some of the fans who may be calling for that?
I mean, to be honest, I'm not really worried about the noise. Our team, we're all confident in each other's abilities. We know we have what it takes to win, so I don't really pay attention to it. But shout out to the fans that, you know, don't fucking actually know what's going on.
Yo, Mack, I love that about this squad. You guys had a goal. You've had that same goal since the start of the season, and we've seen highs and lows. You started off with a second place finish, and then you kind of hit the bottom of the barrel. Where is Seattle at heading into Major IV right now? How good is this team right now?
I think we're a top team, and we have what it takes to win a chip, so stay tuned.
All right, man. Best of luck come Columbus. Congratulations on the win tonight. We'll let you go celebrate with the team.
Thank you. Have a good one.
That is Mackenzie Melts, a.k.a. Mack Daddy, who's going to lock another one up for the Surge as they bank 10K. 2 matches down. We have one more to go. And before we go, quick reminder, start your collection today. Right, Allie? You got to get on board of this one. This is Upper Deck. Start your digital collection today with the 2021 Call of Duty League trading cards by Upper Deck, the official trading card partner of the CDL. Collect your favorite teams and players on upperdeckepack.com or just scan that QR code. Allie, what player do you want?
What? I want all of them. I want all the players. I don't have a favorite whatsoever. None. No bias.
And
Nope,
of course,
never.
keep your QR scanning available for this one as well, Nameless, because it's time to get your league packs.
Yeah, get your league packs. Go ahead and scan it. Wait, where's my phone at? Oh, I left it in the green room. I was going to scan it.
You are a good employee, sir. Well done. We got to go to a commercial break. When we come back, it's the final battle. Are you going to make your channel points up, or are you going to be a sad daddy? We'll find out after this. Subliners, Røkkr, final battle on Friday.
Are going to flip.
They are indeed, but still, you can obviously win it over at P1. Envoy trying to put on the pressure as that scoreline for him continues to look fantastic. 32 and 15. It only takes 5 more seconds and a 5 spree. Make it a 6 spree. Have yourself a moment, Envoy. Laughing it up, enjoying themselves some HyDra. A dominant game 1.
Kill feed. It's Hixie finding 2 to shut down that pressure. 1:40 in the hill alongside his SMG duo, who's been having a phenomenal hard point so far. Toronto Ultra trying to force the game 5, and they're 10 points away from doing so.
Yeah, they're about to do it. It's
oh my!